Welcome to Eric Hates Games. This is a talk show about games, the people who make them, the people who play them, and everything in between. Each week we pick a topic and discuss. There will be tangents, there will be disagreements, but most of all, there will be games. If you have an idea for an episode or you have questions you'd like answered by our esteemed gaming experts, send an email to @gmail.com. Now, this week we picked a topic that has been discussed for the better part of 2 decades. My name is Eric, and I love items in Smash Brothers.
We don't. We're going to debate why we're right and they're wrong.
Pretty much. I mean, items are for scrubs, and I think that's the mass consensus between every single person who plays Smash, except for these guys.
Right, yeah. There's a reason why competitive Smash tournaments don't have items.
What is that reason?
Consistency.
Interesting. So items
No fun allowed.
introduce a level of inconsistency to the gameplay.
RNG also.
Okay.
Substantial RNG.
And so without that randomness, what do we have?
We have a fighting game.
Yeah, fighting game.
Because if we look at the criteria for fighting games, it's consistent. Well, I mean, the only inconsistencies might be balance between characters, but other than that, it's entirely consistent in what you're doing, how you're fighting, frame inputs, all that complex fighting game stuff.
Cool.
So once you add in items, it kind of throws it off.
So let's take a step back and talk about what we're talking about for some non-initiated. Super Smash Brothers, initially released in 1999 for the N64, and it's a party game, a party fighting game, where originally 1 to 4, but eventually 1 to 8, fighters duke it out as their favorite Nintendo characters. Okay.
Yeah.
That's about it?
Yeah,
Did I miss
that's basically
anything?
it.
Sounds about right.
That's
No.
about right?
Yeah.
Okay, and so as Gavin was telling
I
us,
would say so.
the lack of items, and Patrick also, equals more consistency, right? And that's what you look for in a fighting game. Anyone on this side? Any questions about that? Or
I mean, all I really have to say is, while I agree to an extent, the creator, Masahiro Sakurai, particularly and famously, does not consider Smash not necessarily a fighting game, but he particularly plays with items. Like, he only really likes playing the game with items, and weirdly, he likes playing with time instead of stock, which I completely disagree with. But
Yeah, about that.
time is interesting.
yeah.
So typically, again, just to quickly talk about or explain what we're saying, stock is the number of lives each player starts with, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then time is just a time limit. You start with 5 minutes, and whoever gets the most KOs, what do they call them?
Just KOs.
Just KOs.
KOs? Okay, you don't
Kills.
kill the other fighter, but you know
Not in Nintendo.
that's a
certainly
term.
not.
Yeah, that's a term that we throw around a lot, but you don't necessarily kill the other players. So then, who plays with items? The creator.
Yeah.
Who else might play with items? Gavin said scrubs.
Scrubs, yeah.
Scrubs, yeah.
Who else?
Casuals.
Casuals.
Hardcore players have skill. They don't need items.
Yeah.
So my main question when this comes up, because the question of skill often comes up when we talk about items in Smash, wouldn't a more skillful player be able to adapt to items more than a less skillful player if both were playing with items?
Well, I mean, if we look at it from a fighting game standpoint, items add RNG. So you have like items like Pokeballs and what is it, the mystery characters that
Assist
can come
trophies.
in. So it's like,
Yeah.
do I really have to learn how to adapt to all those random characters that all these Nintendo characters pretty much that they've thrown in randomly, and all of them have separate abilities.
Mhm.
They're not one entity, so you would have to adapt to all that, and it's just too much. There's way too many characters that they've implemented in the mystery system and the Pokeballs to fully learn how to adapt to all of them. And some of their abilities are completely inconsistent. They might smash you at like 10%, and you might be dead just from there, just from a simple mistake because you don't know how to adapt to it. or it could be a completely useless character. So it really depends, and also it's like the RNG aspect of it is what kind of kills it.
Yeah, it's not really rewarding either, because like everyone's had that game where like you're like mopping the floor with some kid, and then like if you're playing with items, like he might get a Pokeball, and you'd be like, okay, that's nothing, and then like they get Groudon, and it's like, oh great, now I'm just dead, you know, and it's not very rewarding to play against that, or to even like get the Pokeball and just like win, you know, because it takes away that skill, you know, and rewarding gameplay.
So you bring up a question of balancing and what to balance for in video games. And one thing to balance for is skill. You know, the better player is always going to win. And for that, you have no concealed information and things like that. Chess comes to mind. Both players know everything that's on the board. There's no information, no Pokeballs in chess, right?
No,
you're not going to get a
all.
Voltorb that blows up the whole thing. But you can also balance for fun. Right, so that idea of mopping the floor with another player, and then that other player has a huge comeback with, you know, it may be an unrewarding comeback, but it's this comeback where if you're in a group setting and there's people watching, it really electrifies the room. I've experienced where it's like, of course, both players kind of understand that was nonsense and there's no reason that I should have won after you were mopping the floor with me, but it's like, Oh, he's going for the item. He's going for this. He's got the saber. Oh no, he threw it. Why would you throw the saber? And then boom, it hits him off
suspense.
Suspense and action. And I think Ultimate does this a lot in the way that every time you hit with a smash, there is a puff of smoke and like a frame stop. And the first time I played Smash Ultimate, I was like, this game was designed to be watched. Because it looks incredible, and it looks like
everything.
Whoa! Something big just happened. What do you think, Charles?
It was definitely Nintendo definitely noticed like the esports scene with when developing Ultimate and how many people watch it. So yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So the other thing you brought up, which is one of our talking points, is custom item sets. How does the pro? You two are the ambassadors for the pro. Gamers of Smash, the pro esports Final Destination 2 stock me, bro. Gamers.
3 stock.
3 stock. Sorry,
3
2
stock.
stock is not enough. 2 stock is not enough for skillful players
too
to come
short.
back. Yeah,
It's
it's
too
too short. Why not just 1-on-1? We're gonna play rock paper scissors. Let's just get it over with. I'm better than you.
Are you
But I mean,
playing
it's
Smash Bros?
kind of like best out of 3, kind of.
Yeah, and I mean like, there's upsets. You know, it's just like sports. I mean like the best player doesn't always win. You know, it's not like you have a king and I have a 10, so the king wins. You know, it's more there is inconsistencies in pro play. You're never gonna get that out, and that's what makes it exciting. But it still rewards good play and it punishes bad play. You know,
Good long-term match play, which adds more strategy, right? So you have to be able to maybe give up a stock here to get a stock there.
Exactly.
Like you drop a game in tennis or something. You drop a set to come back and get back on serve. So custom item sets, yay, nay, middle.
I mean, items in general, I don't custom item sets, all items regardless, it doesn't matter. Like, items for me is just a killjoy for the game.
So we should also explain what items do, right? So items, you have the stage, and items are these things that drop from the sky, and depending on where they drop, Gavin may be closer to the beam sword, and thus, by no real design or no skill, he has an advantage over me, just because it happened to have dropped near him.
Exactly, yeah.
Right? So I just want to get that out of the way, but growing up, we always had, every time we sat down to play Smash Brothers for 64, and then Melee, and then Brawl, one of the first things we would do is go to the items page. And we would turn off certain items. What items, if you had to play with items, what items would you keep on? Which ones would you keep off?
I mean, I don't think the healing items are that bad. I wouldn't mind playing with the healing items. I mean, that's probably the extent I would go to. There's one fun item. Like, if I was just playing for fun and not for competitive, I only play for competitive aspects, but I like the, I think it's the bat, because it
Home run bat?
and the hammer, I think it's the Mario hammer, because it's
DK
kind of
hammer?
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could just knock people out at like 50% with that. It's absolutely absurd. So if I'm just screwing around with my friends, and it's like, might as well just throw those in there, just have a little bit of fun. But I don't really play for that kind of aspect of the game. Like, I purely play it for the competitive aspect, because I like to beat people.
That I was gonna say is what I don't understand is how come competitive people don't play with the Smash Ball on, because I don't see how that's like very cheap or dirty, because and I feel like they're easy to adapt to and easy to avoid.
So I actually could give you a reason for that. A lot of the characters' smashes, or final smashes, which is a finishing move in the game, a lot of them can be very, they vary a lot
Good
in
or
how they're
bad.
balanced.
Yeah.
So, like,
I personally
some
feel
people could kill someone a lot sooner with theirs than someone else, so it completely changes the balance of the game.
I personally feel like in previous games I could agree with you, but I feel like Ultimate, for the most part, everybody has very balanced final smashes.
I don't know. I'm a Jigglypuff man. So
Maybe Jigglypuff, but
You
even
know,
Jigglypuff's got buffed a little bit.
it's rough out here for us, and and my final smash isn't good at all. And like, look, you could just run away from it. I just get really big and then go back.
Yeah.
That's it. So like, and then like you compare it to someone like Snake, who just like you scroll over them and then they're just dead at 0. It's like, I don't know, man.
My thing though is you could like adapt to avoid them though. Stuff like I feel like especially like a lot of the sword fighters, theirs aren't very hard to avoid as long as you know this one goes horizontal, this one goes in a circle or vertical.
I mean, I played Donkey Kong, and his final smash is terrible also. I think it's also like, what you have to take into account with final smashes is their range. And if the range is very short, then it's garbage. But you look at like I think it's Dark Pit's or Pit's final smash, and it's a sniper, and it can shoot people from across the map.
Yeah.
Which is kind of absurd, where I'm playing Donkey Kong, and I have such a small radius where they need to be in. So I just think that's why I still don't play with Final Smash, because someone who has a better Final Smash than me that's a complete advantage, where it doesn't require skill, it just requires the tap of a button. So
But now, wouldn't that affect what character you're going to choose?
it would, yeah.
Overall, if we say we are playing with the Smash Ball, then you know DK's Smash is bad, then maybe you would play as a different character.
But I like DK.
I was gonna say,
I like the character for the character, not for their smash, their final smash.
Yeah.
So, like,
I don't
it's
play-
secondary to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
that's
also
pretty
feel
much.
like, like Bowser and Pitts could go pretty much anywhere on the map, but I feel like the difference is Donkey Kong's a short range but does a lot of damage, while, Pitts or Bowser's, you can't really do a lot with them. I feel like it's kind of rare that you KO them unless they're at like a ridiculous percent. Like 100 or more.
I feel like Bowser's pretty strong.
Yeah, I feel like Bowser's really strong.
He just punches you off the screen.
So a similar a similar topic to no items in Smash is the idea of that tournament players have taken, and the only pure way to play Smash in a tournament setting is Final Destination. Is that correct?
No.
What's the other?
I mean,
what's the
there's
other
tournament
map?
legal maps.
Oh, there are maps that aren't fun and well designed that tournament players play with.
No, there are maps that are fun and well designed that tournament players.
Yeah, just flat
Basically,
platforms.
you'll see like people like playing on like Fountain of Dreams,
Yeah,
like
Fountain
Kirby
of
stage,
Dreams.
because it literally plays it's the same layout as Battlefield.
But the Falcon map or the Star Fox map, I'm pretty sure that's tournament legal. I forgot what it's
Corneria?
called.
Yeah.
But
Corneria, Lilat.
I think it's Lilat. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's tournament legal.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, I wouldn't mind playing on those maps. It's just like there's certain maps that are just like with the Snake map, the Metal Gear Solid map is like, why would I play this in a tournament? There's like walls on each side,
Yeah,
and the only way to knock people out, it's confined. I mean, that's cool, but like, Yeah, I guess I could see why
Yeah.
it would be fine to play on that, but I kind of like the basic layout of it, which keeps it consistency. It all goes back to consistency, so.
Yeah, something like Temple. Temple is huge, and you could just stall out, and that doesn't. And you said yourself, Smash is a game meant to be, watched. And if you're just stalling the entire time, with someone like Jigglypuff or someone like Kirby that can just float anywhere they want.
Hungry Box as an example.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it'll be boring, because that's the most optimal play sometimes.
So, thank you so far for this discussion, and let's take a break. We'll be right back with more insightful discussions after this.
Oh hey, I didn't see you there, gamers. Today, we're going to the game room to ask people some questions about Super Smash Bros. For Super Smash Bros., do you like items or no items?
Ooh, that's a good question. Depends who I'm playing against.
Alright.
No items if they're really bad at the game, because I can just beat them with my mediocre skills. No items.
No items? Alright.
No items.
No items? Alright, any particular reason?
Just because some items are really overpowered and not very balanced.
Items. Items? Who's your most hated character?
I hate Bowser with a burning passion.
That's understandable.
Olimar, hands down.
Olimar? Alright.
Hero.
Who's your main?
Call me trash, but I main me sword fighter and me brawler.
Let's go with Lucy then.
My main is Wolf.
Zelda.
No, it's not. Shut up. Why is Brawl a better game?
Tripping, definitely.
Okay.
It was on the Wii. The Wii motion controls.
Okay.
Because I love tripping as Zero and dying to it against Meta Knight.
It's completely understandable. Who's your most wanted fighter?
Waluigi.
Waluigi?
It would probably be Chrono from Chrono Trigger.
Amaterasu from Okami.
Alright. And when do you think Goku is getting in?
Right after Hatsune Miku.
Got it.
I don't know if we'll be getting Goku anytime soon.
Probably never.
Okay.
Never, because they're gonna add Krillin first.
Fair. Alright, and I have one more question for you.
Alright.
Why?
That way he's allowed to die.
No. Not why Krillin, just why.
Why? That's a very important question. When you take all of the actual factors in, mainly leads down to the one answer that there's only one proper answer to that question. Why not?
Fair.
The Pokemon, obviously.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, do you like Smash Bros? Ah! Me too, brother. Me too. Do you like Smash Bros? Sir, do you like Smash Bros?
Yeah.
Alright, well, I got some questions to ask you. Nice. Alright, do you prefer items or no items?
No items, bro.
No items? Who's your main?
My main, I play Samus.
Play Samus?
Yeah.
Alright. Why not Little Mac?
I used to, actually.
You used to? That's
Yeah.
my man. Who's your most wanted fighter?
Bro, get Mario in here.
When do you think Goku's getting in?
Bro, give it like 2 weeks.
2 weeks? Cool. Alright, so we might have gotten a bit desperate for interviews, so we're going up to random people's houses and knocking on their doors. So let's try this. Excuse me, sir. Would you be interested in Super Smash Brothers? Great. Who's your most hated character?
The hero.
The hero? Yeah, I saw that one coming.
I don't hate any character.
You don't hate any character?
None.
That's good. That's wholesome.
My most hated character is probably Jigglypuff when my friend uses him because getting thrifted is not fun.
Okay. Who's your main?
Robin.
Robin? Oh yeah, you're
Red
trash.
Ganondorf, Ike, or... Let's go with Ganondorf. Oh, it's Incineroar.
Incineroar. Okay, yeah,
Mario or Shulk? Xenoblade for life.
Alright, have you considered switching to Little Mac?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I'm fine with side being, just not fine side being off the stage.
Okay. Why do you think Brawl is a better game?
Brawl is an okay game. It's an okay game.
Okay. Why do you think Brawl is a better game than Ultimate?
Why do you hate children?
Why do you hate yourself?
Fair. Who is your most wanted fighter?
Rex from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Sora for Smash!
Most wanted fighter?
Yeah.
We're talking from absolutely anything? Actually, I kind of want Darkrai.
Darkrai?
Honestly, yeah.
Alright, and finally, when do you think Goku's getting in?
When the sun burns out. Wait for it. It'll happen. Don't worry.
Okay.
In about 5 years.
5 years? Okay.
When we all revert back into Homo sapiens.
Okay.
Wait, you
We are, but you know, we're getting Goku!
That was informative.
Yes, it was.
Adam, can you tell us what you learned?
Well, first of all, don't chase after Smash players at night. Second of all, the Dreamcast, the VMU, great, terrible mic. And third of all, everyone really just doesn't like a certain character. So I think that'd be a great way to go to our next topic. What do you guys think about banned characters? Or just banning characters in general?
It could be justified. It could be. There's some characters. I feel like I'm on the side with like Hero. Like I feel like they should ban him. I don't know. I was on the other side for a little bit, but like he's too random, and I've gotten killed so many times by just random crits at 0 that like I'm done with it. I'm losing faith.
Are we talking about banning him in the sense of in a fighting game tournament? Like if you go to Evolution, if you go to EVO 2019, no Hero.
No Hero.
I would ban him personally. I don't think, he's overpowered, and in 2 hits, I think it's his side B, and the Fireball is his side B, right?
Yeah.
And then the Lightning
is Lightning is side B, Fireball's side B. Neutral.
Okay, yeah, those 2 attacks can get you 70% at 0 in 2 hits, which is absolutely absurd. But the thing is, I've gone against a few heroes, and I've bodied them.
Well,
I've he's not OP to the point where you cannot completely beat him, or where you cannot completely beat him, where he's completely broken and it's just impossible. Yeah. But, even though he is very powerful, he still has weaknesses regardless, so...
Yeah. I feel like it's not necessarily that he's OP, because I think if you take the average of his, play, you can see that it's he's probably, A tier, I would think. But...
Definitely.
He could either be depending on especially down B or if you're lucky with the crits, he could be somewhere from a C tier to the best character in the game if you just land crits every single time, and just get
Is A better than C?
Yeah.
A tier. What's top tier?
S.
S tier?
Yeah.
What are some S tier characters?
Lucina, I think.
Yeah, Lucina is Snake.
Of course.
Peach.
Snake.
Pichu. And
Pichu.
Yeah. I think. And
Joker.
Peaches, I'm pretty sure she's
Peach.
I think.
Yeah, Joker.
Joker's
what about
definitely
my boy?
S tier.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joker's 100% S tier. He's actually ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna link this back to another Smash Brothers game. We're talking about the tier list for Ultimate, right?
Yes. Yeah,
so the GameCube came out with Super Smash Bros. Melee, which is a lot of fighting games players. That's their definitive Smash Brothers version. When they say playing Smash, they mean Melee on the GameCube. And what's super interesting to me about Melee, always has been fascinating to me, is that if you take a look at the tier list in Melee and you look at it with the graph over time, and each, maybe with the magic of green screen, we'll have that graph. The tier list changes, And it changes over like a 10-year span or like an 8 to 10-year span where no character is always at the top or always some characters are always at the bottom, right? But like if you look at the tier list, it started with Mario being top tier and that quickly drops. And then you get like, Hungry Box comes in a little bit with Jigglypuff and boom, Jigglypuff is now top tier. Who was...
Axe was Pichu, or not Pichu, Pikachu, I mean.
Pikachu, yeah. And Fox is always hovering around there. But that's a game that has... We talk about banning or fixing, and when we say fixing, we mean like you pop your game in and it says, hey, there's an update. You can download the new patch, and now Hero Side B does 10% less damage. Melee is a game that had no updates. It released, and somehow it's still a competitive fighting game.
It's extremely relevant, I'd say, yeah.
It's still relevant, right?
It was played at EVO, but I think recently they took it out.
They just
took it out.
dropped
Yeah, this is the first year in a while.
And replaced it for Ultimate, which there was a lot of controversy about.
Yeah. So, when we talk about patching and fixing and banning, it's cool to keep in mind that idea of player-controlled banning, player-controlled balancing. So if Jigglypuff is OP or S tier or whatever phrase you want, the rest of the fighting games community is going to figure out how to beat Jigglypuff.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, you leave it in the player's hands, which is, I think, a very adaptable and admirable aspect of some video games, right? So we got a couple minutes left, and I just want to leave everyone with some takeaways from today's discussion and from games in general. One is that play is play, right? And there's a whole sect of game design, game theory that says, who cares what the rules are? Find your fun. You have the components, you have the pieces, just play and enjoy yourself. And if you have fun playing Monopoly, where you get to roll 7 dice instead of 2, and I have fun playing Monopoly strictly by the rules, who's to say one of us is playing better than the other, right? And the other takeaway is that competition is also great, and competition is important. And when we look at the tournament scene for Smash Brothers and many other games, fighting games especially, we didn't talk about Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Tekken,
yes.
any of the like real competitive fighting games that have no items. Like you all said, when you strip away all of the random elements, the elements that could favor one player more than the other just by chance, what you get is a deep fighting game, and I think that's really, really interesting for the Smash Bros. Franchise as a whole, right? So, any closing remarks from the tournament, from the pro bench?
For me, items add RNG to the game, and I mean that might be fun for some people, but for me personally, I only play fighting games because I'm competitive and I like to beat other people.
Perfect.
So that drives me to get even better, and when you add in items, then it's just
Great.
Yeah, I think you should play it how you want to play it. I mean, I'm not totally against items, it's just more for the debate and the fun of it. But like,
yeah.
But I think just my personal opinion is I like to just play without items, But to each their own, and just have fun with it, because that's the most important thing. That's why we do all of this, like just a game.
Or to test our skill against others.
That's true.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right?
that's true.
To be the best. All right, and on our couch, the clean item players. Charles, any final takeaways?
I hate video games.
Great.
No fun allowed.
Perfect. Adam?
If you like video games, it's a crime. Stop.
Excellent. And that's going to be a wrap for this episode. Today's real life advice is go outside.